So she's we're co-conspirators.
Putting together.
Okay, it's on.
Do we start the camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop my video.
Yeah, we tested this morning.
Yeah. I can see you chewing, Renita.
I'm tearing it up.
Here we are.
Someone's mic is on.
Probably me. Can I get you a water or something?
Let's go downtown.
Come with. There you go. So we can have. This place for commissioner. You see what, guys? Perfect. You guys stay with me?
Yeah.
So, get that mic on.
Hello. I had to steal it from next door, I guess. I had to steal it from here.
The stand?
Yeah. Hello. We have pocket mic.
Okay.
You're going to monitor the chat, right?
I will monitor the chat, yes.
And the mic, the room will pick up from the wireless mics in the ceilings. No, they don't. This room
No.
does not have the microphone.
No.
That other one has it. So how are we going to do it? Okay.
Do we have?
I'm going to grab it from the next door.
Why do you think should everybody go closer, be able to? No, they're pretty sensitive. Right?
Yeah, there. I'll go and grab it.
Yeah. Ooh, that's almost out of charge. Chief Hurley, can you say something?
Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty loud anyway.
Come on in. Hey, Tina. Hey. Tina, this is Chief Hurley from Gulf Springs.
Oh my God, let me put my stuff down.
Well, y'all gotta hug first. You'll be fine.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. How are you? Happy New Year.
Chief, did you park downstairs?
In the records?
Yeah. Here, this will get you up.
Oh, okay.
I assume y'all came together.
Yes.
Okay. One that is going to benefit this whole entire group, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And
So did you, hear about the press conference this morning?
I know I'm fortunate
agriculture and that like a ag stuff. So they have these meetings and they're studying more. And they'll put a recommendations and like policy principle. That, yeah. From the city's perspective, but they didn't include any of that, they didn't include the office of solutions, they didn't include commissioner, they didn't include a lot. No, no, no. As Serena just so astutely said, it's an election year.
That's why I'm like, I like to sit, honestly. There you go. I prefer just doing legal.
Michael? Yes, I'm talking. What's that called? Okay. Oh, unmute my phone.
Let me.
You can talk.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to give it just another minute or so to let people join online.
or you have? Keisha said she.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, somebody. Awesome. We're just testing the system and giving it just one more minute, and then we'll get started, okay?
How's everybody doing? As we spread out, I guess.
Thomas.
Okay.
So how many do you have? One,
Why don't
two,
you
three,
come on?
4,
Come on,
5,
guys.
6.
I got 7.
Who's the second?
Kelly?
I've got Thomas,
Does it make a
Daniel,
difference?
Hughes, Havlet, Glover, Cerise.
Where's Havlet?
How are you doing?
No, not Havlet.
What do you work with?
Mita Havlick.
Yes, Havlet.
Mina?
Mita.
Yes. Yep, I'm on the phone.
Thank you.
That doesn't, I don't see your face.
She's calling in, though.
No.
I had to join by phone. I don't have access to video at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, we need access by video.
I know who you are.
Okay. All right. Well, then give me a couple minutes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, they're not Havlet.
Yeah, why don't we
Learn
come
all
up?
about.
1, 2, 3. Is Townsend on yet?
No, let's email her.
Okay.
You do it.
Well, good morning. How are you? Or afternoon? I guess we're slipping into afternoon, aren't we?
If you'll go ahead and mute your phones, please. Okay.
Right. Okay. You'll be in the
Yes.
comment period, I guess, then.
Oh,
So we have a
You're
quorum.
there,
we have one.
and you brought friends.
the,
Is that what that is?
Help you with the Wi-Fi.
And you're with the Express, and I know who you are, and I know who you are. Okay.
Only Dr. Cerise is a board member. I don't know.
So do we have a quorum?
We do. Dr. Cerise, can you turn your video on just a moment, please?
You know I have to jump off real early, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We appreciate
Dan,
We're going to confirm the 3 new board members, and then we'll have the quorum without you.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Well, then let's do that. Welcome to the Dallas Area Partnership to End and Prevent Homelessness Local Government Corporation, or an LGC, this February 16th, Thursday morning at 1 p.m. And in a different meeting space. Get it up there. Is that better? Yeah, it echoes a little bit. But I do want to say welcome, and I understand that we do have a quorum, and that all legal notices have been posted and the meeting has been duly called. Why don't we start off with public comment, and that is a limit of 2 minutes per speaker, and I think that we do have one person here.
Yes, we do.
Would you like to come forward, introduce yourselves?
Mr. Baker, you'll go to the front podium, please.
Well, this doesn't work out real well.
Start.
Speak.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm here as a member of Dallas City Council District 3, and we want to underscore the fact that homelessness is an issue, that we really want to do our fair share to help support homeless services and facilities, and to speak out against the 2900 Hampton Road proposal that the city of Dallas is attempting to bring before Dallas County as a partner. This was not brought to the community with any level of community engagement. There was no real front-end participation. The location for the facility is the wrong location. It's next to an elementary school, a public park, 2 senior developments, a nature center, and in the middle of a residential neighborhood. And again, in the October 27th meeting that the city had, there was 100% unanimous opposition to this particular proposal. The city is also wanting to, in its attempt at fairness and equity, provide a homeless services facility of some type in every council district, which in principle sounds like a good idea, except for Council District 3, we're going to have 2. One that's in the process of being rehabilitated, and the other proposal for a 16-acre site for basically a mega center. The city has not proven itself to be capable or to be a good partner. So if anything, we want to at least start with a small center first and see how the city does before we give them any type of support for a 16-acre mega center that they don't even have a plan for. So in summary and in the short way of presenting this is my public comment to Dallas County, a potential partner in this project. So thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Mr. Baker.
Is there anyone else online that would like to speak? Is there anyone else online that would like to speak? Okay, this closes your public comment section.
Thank you very much. We're going to do a couple things a little out of order at this moment. So we will be moving to item number 5, which is the nomination and confirmation of board appointments. And as I understand it, there are, okay. Is that any better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. That there are 3 people that we are looking at appointing. 2 of those are those that are appointed by the chair of this group. And so I would like to introduce Chief Hurley from Balch Springs, who happens to be here in person. And I understand that Dan Michke, who is a Dallas ISD trustee, is online. Is that true?
Right behind you.
Yeah, do you know, virtual meetings are still interesting, aren't they? But if it gets the job done, I guess we can go on. And I think that the resumes of those 2 people have been included in the information packet that was sent out. Is that correct?
No, ma'am, but they will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess let's do that, go through the process first. And then Michael Pegas?
Yes, he's online.
Is the third position, and it's a director position number 4, and he is an appointment of the mayor of Dallas. So at this point, I guess since it's supposed to be nomination and confirmation, is there a nomination? Let's take them. person by person.
I'll move.
You move on. Go
I
ahead.
can move on the group if you want, or I can go down the list, move on Dan first.
Why don't we do it one by one? And so, is this Dr. Cerise?
It is?
Well, good. Proceed.
I nominate Dan, help me out, Dan.
Meach K.
Meach K.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay.
Chair Towers.
Discussion? I don't see any discussion going on, so all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. I'll wait for that. All those, anyone opposed? Do you see anything online that would indicate that?
None.
Okay, then congratulations, Dan Meachke, welcome. Glad you'll be joining our group here. Moving along to Director Position 13, and that is the Police Chief Brent Hurley from Balch Springs. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
Second? Second? Okay. Okay. Any discussion? I don't see any, there's no discussion going on here. How about online? Nope. Then let us move forward. Those in support of the nomination for Police Chief Brent Hurley, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? I don't hear anything. Do you see anything? Nope. Then congratulations, Chief Hurley. I'm glad that you're going to be joining this group and really appreciate your willingness. Okay, let's move along to the third appointment of Michael Pegas.
I move to nominate Michael.
Do we need to do that then? Apparently the mayor goes through that process. So thank you, Dr. Cerise, for your willingness to participate here, and congratulations to Michael Pegas, another new addition to our group here. So appreciate that. And now, because I guess it's just you and me, or we're the only ones in person today. We're just lucky.
I'm glad I came.
Well, so am I. It's good to see you again. Anything else on this piece? I think we've conducted our business, and congratulations to new members. Let's go on with the business of what we do here. Now going back to number 4 seems a little out of, let's go back to number 3, approval of the minutes from the past meeting. The minutes should have been, you should have received them online, gone through them. Are there any changes or corrections to be made there? Why does it seem particularly awkward today? And I'm not sure why. I guess it's because I can't see. I feel like I should move over there so I can at least see who else is there. It's so good to see you guys. Yeah, I'm not real, yeah. I mean, I understand, but it's just different, I guess. I can move right over there and then I could see. I want to do that. Thank you. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, approval of minutes, we did that, yes. Discussion of board membership status. Has there been any more movement on that as far as resignations creating a board vacancy? I don't think that I've,
Dr. Daniel, this
Yes.
is Carol. I don't think we had a motion and took a vote on the minutes.
oh, I'm sorry. We talked about it, huh?
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we just talked about, were there any changes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November 3rd, 2022 meeting?
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Good to see you, Representative Casey Thomas. But I think it is true that I have not seen any additional resignations or change in the membership of the group at this point. With after the three have been nominated and approved in here. Great. Okay, well then that'll be something to look forward to. Moving on to number 6. Point number 6 is the discussion to retain outside counsel. And the Honorable Casey Thomas, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you. I've been had some prior commitments and I hadn't been able to be here for a little while. But what I want to discuss with this, and I don't know how many of you, and first of all, welcome those of you who are new to the board. We appreciate you willing to serve with us. For those who may not be aware, the city is represented by the city's attorneys, and the county is represented by the county attorneys. And sometimes, whenever we have an issue, it's left up to interpretation of each of the attorneys. So, as a result of previous discussion me and the chair had, I think it's something that we should consider looking at outside counsel. That way, that counsel would be responsible for giving legal advice to the board itself, as opposed to one entity providing legal advice for the city and another providing legal advice for the county. And so I'm open, if the chair is, to any discussion, any thoughts that anyone else may have, and if we're in agreement, we can take a vote, and with the chair's approval, I can kind of begin to lead the process and come back with some recommendations.
Okay. Yes, Carol.
Having sat through some meetings where we had some disagreement, I think that's an excellent idea, a great plan. And we do have representation here at NIPA by Carvin Adkins. He has a law firm that primarily represents governmental entities, especially those like the community center. So if you'd like his contact information for consideration, I can certainly send that to you. But I think that's a wonderful idea.
Absolutely, Ms. Lucky.
Thank you very much. Are there any other thoughts about the retention of outside counsel to represent the board as opposed to any of the contributing entities?
I have a quick question. Is there a budget for outside counsel, since it sounds like we haven't done that before and it may not have been included in any prior budget that was approved? Or how does that work?
That would be a part of the process. We haven't had this discussion since I've been a part of the board before. So this would be an initial discussion. So we would do all our due diligence, and that would be a part of the process, and I would report that back to the board.
Okay, I too agree that there may be a time when the interests of the board may not be exactly in line with either the city of Dallas or Dallas County, and therefore it's a worthwhile point in going forward to have its own council.
The last question I have, and that is this an RFP process, or if we approve this, how does the process go forward?
I would come back with that recommendation as well. Just want to give an opportunity to kind of look at the feasibility once the board approves us moving forward with that, and come back with all of those recommendations potentially by our next board meeting.
Okay. Any other questions, observations? Well, then all those, is there a motion to accept this proposal?
I'll make the motion. I move that we begin the process of looking at retaining outside counsel.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
This is Dan Mitchke.
Thank you. And Dan, both of you? Sounds like it's acceptable then. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Were there any up? Okay, now it looks like there were none in opposition. The ayes have it, and thank you, Member Thomas, to do what needs to be done to gather the information and then make recommendations of possible attorneys to fill that role. We look forward.
Absolutely. And feel free to call me your vice chair.
Yes, sir. I will call you vice chair. Why don't we do that? Is that chair of vice? No, we don't do that. The next item is, I guess we are not ready to review the revision of articles of incorporation, and so that has been pulled until the next meeting of this body. So then the Dallas Area Partnership to End and Prevent Homelessness, LGC Corp is looking at board committee reports. Investment strategy and strategic partnerships. And I have been the chair of this committee, and the work of the committee has been taken on primarily by the two major components of this group, the City of Dallas and Dallas County. And each entity has expended a lot of time, energy, thought, and funds into actually affecting the amount of affordable housing, the amount of housing units in general, and then making those housing units appropriate for many of the specific groups within the county, looking at veterans, looking at kids, looking at seniors, at families, and even members on our board I know are involved in a variety of those endeavors. And so I hate to say, well, I don't hate to say, but it's pretty much just everything is in process right now. It seems we're in the middle, looking forward to additional investments in housing of all types within the City of Dallas and within Dallas County. In particular, too, I don't know whether Vice Chair Thomas wanted to add anything to this particular topic, because I know that the county and the City of Dallas work together on a variety of those projects, but not everything.
Yeah, the only thing that I would probably add, and like I said, I missed the last couple of meetings. Of course, I see the agendas, but from this point of view, the Dallas Real-Time Housing is probably the largest partnership when you talk about investment and strategic partnerships that we have. And I think continuing to get quarterly or maybe every other month updates from them to this body of how that partnership is progressing, how many people are being housed, and things of that nature. So that would be the only thing I would add as relates to this particular committee.
Yeah, because I think the last meeting we did have a report, an update of the rapid rehousing endeavors, and I've been very proud that it has been very impressive. Because I think up to this point it's been about 1,500 people, in fact, who have been housed through those efforts. But then I think one of the things that I really appreciate about in particular the items that the City of Dallas and Dallas County have been involved in is that it's paying attention to not only the fact that we're increasing the units, but it's also making sure that it's a livable situation so that services that would be needed, outfitting the place so that it actually is increasing home units and living situations for people. So that's having a wider perspective on what housing means. The Public Education and Housing Availability Committee does not have a chair at the moment. And I think part of what we ought to do then is to, with the addition of the new members, have a discussion between now and the next meeting of where matches could be made and interests could be aligned with that. The third committee is the Policy Alignment Committee, and that is our Vice Chair, Casey Thomas. Do you have anything to report on that?
Yes, Madam Chair. I think as I spoke about earlier, the Dallas Real-Time Housing, I think that also provides some alignment as relates to policy between the county and the city. But I think when we move into our discussion, item number 9, I think that also is going to allow us to kind of take a good look at where our committees, currently are and what committees maybe be redundant, and also if we need to sunset some of the committees, come up with new committees. I think we're in a lot different space than we were prior to the pandemic, with so many things that are going on with Housing Forward, with the $20 million that they just received from HUD. I'm sure all of us got that exciting announcement. And so I think as we talk about policy alignment, looking at this discussion on item number 9 is going to really address some of the things that would be coming out of our committee reports.
Oh, I most definitely agree with you on those points, that we are in a very, very different space today than when, in 2017, when this committee was put together. So that, and I would also agree with you that wanting to make this committee reflect better where we are and to reflect some of those changes makes an awful lot of sense. System Performance Committee, Dr. Cerise, is he still online? I think he had to leave. But I think part of, and it goes back to what Vice Chair Thomas was just referring to, and that's really taking a look at making the Dallas Area Partnership more in line with where we are today, that we may want to consider that System Performance Committee has really focused in on the rapid rehousing and that they are doing regular reporting back to us. So it's, I guess that's one of the areas that I would suggest that the System Performance Committee, as we, in the world we are today and where we are sitting at the moment, it seems like a redundancy.
And Dr. Daniel, I am on that committee with Dr. Cerise. This is Carol. And I agree. We decided that it was not meaningful for us to try to gather data and put that together when Housing Forward is doing that and producing those reports on an annual basis. And they have a pretty powerful dashboard of things that are happening through time. So we had kind of deferred to them. And I think that maybe we should formalize that process somewhere in here. But yeah, let's not be duplicative and get the information from the best source, which is Housing Forward.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, comments about this? Well, first of all, is it the realities of where we are today? Does it make a lot of sense to have this committee? And maybe we would be better served in evaluating where there are voids or gaps in what housing and homelessness is showing throughout the county. And I'm looking around in particular at, well, just because Chief Hurley is sitting in front of me, but coming from Balch Springs, but then you also have a view in law enforcement that I think is a little different than, for example, my view as an administrator. Do you have any words that you would, or any comments that you would like to make on how this group, how this partnership, because it is everybody within the county, can be more responsive, can be more helpful, can move things forward?
I think a lot for me here in the beginning, getting myself acclimated to this board. Once I kind of learned the different board members and maybe spend a little time talking with folks, that definitely from the, oh, thank you. I have a mic now. Okay. From the law enforcement perspective, I would like to see the things that we can do in responding to our homelessness. Our officers, a lot of times, are. Maybe I'll go.
You want to use this? Come join me.
All right, maybe everybody can hear me now. Just being a new member on this board and learning exactly what this corporation here does and what part I can play. I did participate in our last point in time count in Balch Springs. We do have just in our area bordering the southeast of the city of Dallas and in the southeast corner of Dallas County. It seems that we've had a larger population of homelessness move into our area. Balch Springs is a little unique. There's quite a bit of still undeveloped land, so we have the potential of areas where homelessness will be able to congregate to where they're able to camp and still have their privacy. So learning what we can do there to educate them. We also have with Balch Springs, Mesquite, Sunnyvale, and Seagoville, we do have a resource that we use with our homeless population a lot, which is our response team, which was a big part of what the Commissioners Court funded. So that helps address a lot of our mental illness and not only just in mental illness calls, but also with our unhoused neighbors as well, that we have that resource that's able to come out. So I'm looking forward to just, again, learning about this board, learning what inputs that I can put into it. So.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I have a recommendation. In light of having 3 new board members who just were approved today, my recommendation or suggestion would be that we send out the committees and the job descriptions or the responsibilities of each committee, and we put on the agenda for the next meeting to be prepared to have this discussion in terms of restructuring the committees, because I know they're coming on saying, I don't even know what the committees actually do. And so I think we will be able to have, a more meaty, for lack of a better term, discussion as it relates to restructuring those committees when they've had an opportunity to see what the committees are, what the duties and responsibilities of each committee is, and then we can be more prepared to make those restructuring recommendations, as well as potentially look at the articles of incorporation and any changes that need to be made to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. It makes for a information-informed decision-making rather than trying to figure out which end is up. So to me, that makes an awful lot of sense. Any other comments, observations about where we are in the committee restructuring?
Yes, I do, Commissioner. I was just thinking about, or maybe it's just a comment, not necessarily a question, just thinking about the mayor's task force, that he mentioned he would be building last year, and then I guess it was just announced. I just want to think about that role. And so when we're thinking of our committees and our goals, how we can either, work in tandem or parallel together in some way to just, I don't know, really make the impact that much stronger, I suppose, now that they will also be in the space.
Yeah. Yeah, that too makes a lot of sense to me. It seems like since this group has been formed, in that there has been so much activity that reevaluating it, and in particular it was just announced today that the Mayor Johnson of the city of Dallas is starting a homeless task force. But then that goes in together along with the groups within the city of Dallas, groups within Dallas County and throughout the county, because I know, Mesquite and Irving and Garland, Richardson all make contributions through their own committee structure within those cities. So it'd be something to evaluate. Okay, where are we today? And make a better recommendation of options for the basic activities of this group. Any other comments?
Yes, Commissioner. This is Dan Mitchkay.
Okay.
I want to echo the idea about making sure that we don't duplicate efforts that are already in place, and that we figure out a way to complement efforts that are already being undertaken. The second thing is, at some point, it doesn't have to be immediately, but what definition of homelessness are we using? So in the education space, there's a federal statute called the McKinney-Vento statute. Mm-hmm. As probably everybody on this call knows, but that doesn't necessarily equate with a public understanding of homelessness. Homelessness the Kenny-Vento statute, would cover things like people living short-term in motels, or sleeping in the garage or on the couch of a friend or something like that, as opposed to just sort of living in the streets and the parks. So at some point, I'd like some clarification as to what we're talking about when we're talking about homelessness. Thank you.
Yeah, I just pulled up the articles of incorporation and just checking to see if there is. Very good observation, because I don't see one in there. And you're absolutely right that that would have a big impact on. Have you seen these?
Yes,
Yeah, I think because we sent them out to you, didn't we? Interesting. How could we not? Well, the fact that it's probably a very good idea, coupled with the fact that in the last very few years that the efforts of so many entities to address housing, and maybe not necessarily those who are unsheltered, but also those that are not in a stable housing situation, which is what you've described, Trustee Michke. So that would be in addition to evaluating the committee structure of this partnership group. I would suggest that maybe we take a couple of people from this group and make a recommendation or outline what the definitions of homelessness would look like. Trustee Michke, would you be willing to work on that particular item along with, you happen to be here, Chief Hurley, so is that something that
I'd be more than happy to.
you'd be willing to work with?
Mhm.
Is there anybody else who would like to look at, okay, what are we really talking about when we, in the terms homelessness?
I do think it kind of varies based on program and funding, and what we're talking about. And I would just recommend, I'm not volunteering at this point, but I would recommend communicating with Housing Forward, maybe Sarah Kahn or Sarah Craig, who could get you some of the definitions and how they're used with different programs. And I think that would provide some clarity for us.
I think it's a very good idea. I know it's something that, I mean, I always love to go digging into the information and the data just to see who's doing what and how can we use that information to better guide what we do here and how does it all fit in. So I think it's a very good suggestion. Other thoughts? Nope. Well, then there will be the three of us looking at some of these ideas and collecting additional information on that definition. So aren't you glad you stepped up?
Yes.
Well, good. Chief Hurley? Okay. Discussion, we've done a little bit of the, and I'm probably the committee restructuring recommendation. Vice Chair Casey, do you and I want to, Thomas, do you and I?
Yeah, no, that's what I thought we were actually on item 9. That's what I was saying, that, we should send out the committee,
okay,
all the committees and the duties to all of the committee, all the members of the board, especially our new board members. That way we could have a more thought out discussion at our meeting next month.
Sounds good,
Absolutely.
I think. Any other insights, questions, observations? As we are looking at why are we here and what are we trying to do and how does it fit in to filling in gaps in our housing and homelessness space. Item number 10, announcements of upcoming events and meetings. There's already been the observation that the mayor of Dallas has created a housing task force, and that announcement was made today, which I hope will add good news. Are there any, Mr. Thomas, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually, homelessness task force instead of housing. I'm really excited about the 3 co-chairs who've been appointed to lead that effort. Each of them have have experience, and they're also leading already in capacities. And then also those who are part of the actual task force. And if you haven't received that, I'm sure Renita, I know the council did. We can send that to all of the board members, that the memo that came from the mayor's office with the names of the co-chairs and the members of the task force. And so I think giving them an opportunity to do their work, the expectation is they'll be ready to deliver a report by June. And so kind of, and what I can do if everyone is if those of you who are part of the board are interested, we can make sure that at least the co-chairs, if not other members, have a conversation with you and get your input as it relates to this, since you're serving on this board. I can have them to touch base with each one of you and get your thoughts as they begin to develop their report, and then see if at some point in time before the final report comes out, they're ready to brief this board.
I think that's a very astute observation, because I think the space of homelessness has changed so much, and it's trying to figure out then, as has been noted too, that not to duplicate what other entities are doing, but using this particular partnership team to fill in gaps. So that makes an awful lot of sense to get together with them, with the new chairs of the homeless task force. Any other announcements of upcoming events or meetings? What else is going on out there? I don't see any hands. Anything else here?
Commissioner, I'll just put a plug in for Housing Forward's Hard Conversations that they're hosting tomorrow, where they bring in a book or a leader. And tomorrow the conversation is about Fixer Upper, how to repair America's broken housing systems. And they have them, like I said, throughout the year, but it's tomorrow. I want to say it's around the lunch hour from 12 to 1:30 if anyone's interested or has the ability to join.
And who is speaking, please?
Apologies, Celeste Arista Glover.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't see the...
Sure thing.
Is there anybody here who is attending that who would be able to report back?
I'll be attending, so I can report back. It's Celeste again.
Wonderful. Thank you, Celeste.
Sure thing.
Okay. Any other events or meetings coming up that are of interest here? I don't see any hands. I don't hear any voices. I understand it's cold outside, but that's about all I know, huh? We've all been working hard. Considering that I don't see anything else to be brought up today, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be here, to share thoughts, and to see what we can do to use this group as a tool to make Dallas County, the city of Dallas, and all the other cities involved provide a better space for all of our residents. So without further ado, thank you. Go get them. Bye-bye. Congratulations
Thank you, Commissioner.
to our new members.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, new members.
Motion to adjourn. Do we need a motion? I didn't think we did. And I'm not even sure it needs a second, to be perfectly honest. I didn't think so. Go out and have a good time and do all the good things that we have in our aspirations to do. Thank you. Bye-bye.